just trying to take another example, you can say, where I'm just trying to explain you how the structure of the C works. So in this program I have declared the first two header files, which are hash include stdio.h and hash include conio.h. After this it is int main. Int means the function will be returning a value, means it needs to have one return statements. Then I declared 5 6 integer values, and then because C says that the program should be at the beginning of the declaration of the variable should be at the beginning. Then with the clear screen I try to receive the number from the user and I place them at their respective values, and then I calculated the simple interest using the formula SI is PTR by 100 and display the result. You can halt the screen and to check the code and practice again just to see, because there is nothing new. I just continued from the previous sections, and this is how it's going to work. Thank you very much and watch the next video. Hello friends, and in this video we are going to start from where we left in the previous video. Just is the simple interest calculator and just takes the principal, time, rate. Now here I'm just trying to talk about the comment line and few more things. So this forward slash means you are making these two lines as comment line, and if you want to make more than two lines as a comment line, then it's called paragraph commenting or the multi-line comment. Then you just write forward slash asterisk and then asterisk forward slash, and between them whatever you write that will automatically become the comment line. So now here I'm just trying to make the use of conditional branching or conditional control statement. Conditional control statements means because if a program initially, suppose the program is having 100 lines, so the execution begins from line 1 to line 100. But these kind of smooth programmings never work in the real life application, because in real life applications you have to take the decisions. So you need to take some decisions, and based on the outcome of that decision sometimes you have to do certain different things or something else. So C compiler also provides that kind of mechanism by which you can achieve that feat. How it is? It's called if else statement. If else, as the name suggests, if this. So now here in this program I'm taking two numbers from the user and putting them in the x and y. So my program says that if x is greater than y, then print x is greater, else print y is greater. This is called if else. Means if x is greater than y, so x greater than y is called the relational expression, and its output is always true or false. So if it is true, then do print percentage d is greater, means print x is greater, whatever there in the memory cell of x, that will be greater. So and if otherwise you can say the else part. So here only one condition, if condition. So this is called it just bifurcates the path of executions. Like if it is true, then it just makes two branches. That's why these are called the branching statements or the conditional control statements. Means they control the flow of execution of the lines of the code depending on certain condition. Now there are different type of conditional control statements like the if else if ladder. So in the same programs I'm going to discuss about if else ladder also. Now I'm running it just to show if else. So you can write multiple if, multiple else's, and you can write else without if, but you cannot write only else and without if, but you can write if without else. So now here I take the number from the user, and then this is the result, how it's coming nicely. Thank you. So just go to the next not next video, go to the next way of looking at the things called if. Suppose we have more than two conditions to analyze, like I have want to take two decisions, two conditions are there, then what I'll do, then the C++ compiler have provided you the opportunity, or you can say the mechanism that is called as if else if ladder. So like in this condition, if x is greater than y, then the first block is done, and second block. What if x is equal to y? So this is not analyzing both the condition, that whether x is greater than y or x. So I want to make it like I want to analyze that also. So this is called two decision. So if, else if. So and it should also have one else at the end. So if condition, else if condition, and then else. So here in this program, you just see what I'm trying to achieve is that I'm just discussing if, else if ladder statements. And always keep this in your mind. These are the primary tools provided by the C compiler, and they help you to understand, to frame your logic so that you can program the real life applications in a better way. Because we need to take many times decisions. Many examples are there where in the menus kind of, these are just tools. So and here we are discussing the syntax of them. So now this looks fine. Now let me run the code and see what the output I'm getting, because I have incorporated the x equal to y feature also in this program. Now no error, run it. I just try to put x and y both equal, 12 there and 12 here. So now you see it's going nice, and this is working nicely. Now there is another type of conditional branching. This is called as switch statement. Switch statement means, just suppose a case is called the multi-forking, like one thing suggests many things, like one to many kind of, one to many. For example, where you can apply these kind of things, one to many. Like suppose if I just try to say that we know that the week of the days of the week are called as Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and if you want to express them in numbers, that goes like 1. Sunday is the first day of the week, so the 1 is Sunday, 2 is Monday, 3 is like that. So if I represent the day's number as 1, so one variable which will take one number, and if it has 1, then output will be Sunday. If it is 2, then output is Monday. If it is 3, so these are the different cases it is called. So switch. Now here in this same program, I just change some structure. So after clear screen, you say enter the number, and the number is stored at the address of x. What happens then? We go for studying the case 1. In case 1, if x is 1, then it will print Sunday and the break, because there's nothing else to do. But when the case 1 is completely done, the program has to break, because out of so many cases, only one case is going to be true, not all the cases, right? So I think that here I just save some time and just copy paste, because only I have to change the 1 as to Sunday as Monday, Tuesday, like that. So it is little cumbersome and a little annoying, but at the same time, since you are explaining them, so you have to write each and everything so that the audience can understand what exactly is the program. Because most of the time I have the experience of more than 20 years in programming, and those who are learning first time, in our time, I used to remember that people used to, it's just like from very different kind of approach was required, and you have to know mathematics also, you have to know because it is just like a language. If you know the language well, and you need to know what to program, because that is very important. And these things are taught in engineering colleges here. Some CBSE, ICSE boards, they have introduced at the beginning 11, 12 also. But after this, reaching this level, now these days we see that the 10-year-old boy is programming, a housewife who never studied engineering is also programming, web designing, web services. So the programming has become, because in the yesteryears, if you see that most of the programmers were hobbyists. It's just like when you learn swimming. So you never knew that you can become a swimmer. You just go enjoy and learn the basic tricks of swimming, and then later you can become swimmer. Now back to the code, because it was just wastage of time. So here it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then at the end there should be the default statement. Just like at the place of case you write default, means if the user enters something different other than 1 2 or 3, then what you'll do? So the program will say that enter the number properly. So default is necessary. In this program I haven't written the default because I'm sure that I'm not going to enter any number other than 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So but it is not a correct practice. You should write the default. So for that, how to write default and how it works, I have created another video. In the next video you'll see that is the switch statement with a default statement. So now here, and the case number last, we don't need to provide the default, you don't need to provide the break, because it just does it nicely, because it's just after that only switch statement is going to end, so the program will automatically come out of that, so there's no problem with that. So here I just simply run and try to, now again I have to make Sunday, Monday and all these things. So in the next video, I'm just giving a preface because I'm writing here, I'm typing at the same time, so I don't want to write FRIDAY spelling, I have to tell you. So I'm just trying to say that in the next video, another instance is there where the user enters like the character, seeing the first character of the color of a rainbow. Like, Vibgyor is there, so V for violet, I for indigo, R for red, etc. So the user will be entering one character and that will be stored in a character variable, and cases will be there, because normally we have the integer case switches are most effective in integer, and the character variables hardly you can use them, but it just make more sense with these two values, because we hardly use for float or double values. So here now this code appears to be ready now. So let's see, because when the program becomes longer, then it may have many errors. So the compilation time, if the program contains any bug or any syntactical errors, then it will not be compiled, and this is called the static, or you can say the compile time errors. If it is flawless, this colon is not required after the switch. So this is the error, so I need to remove it. So here it goes. Now let me save the file. Every time whenever you make any changes in the code, just save the file and recompile, because it has to be a new file. Now it says it's looking nice, so I enter a number and see what's going to be Wednesday. So it's working fine. So again, this kind of pop-ups comes, you just don't make any changes, because it's just asking you whether the compiler can override the thing. Now here this is what I was talking about, the spectrum and the rainbow thing. So I remove all these things and I make one variable character x, so the x is of type character, and then the program will ask the user to enter a character variable, and it will be stored at the address of x. The format specifier for the character values are simply %C, and then in the cases you have to write them in the single quotes, because characters generally go into single quotes only. So VIB, then G Vibgyor, G, it should be in single quote. All the things will be, all the characters is a single quote, and they take the 1 byte of memory also, very less memory. So GYOR, O for orange, so the violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and R for red. So I have to make all the changes there. The Sunday should be violet. Okay, so again here also I haven't written the default, so but the default is needed, because if the user enters a letter M, and M is, there is no color in the spectrum with the beginning with the letter M, so what will happen, the program will not function smoothly. So if you write default and you write one statement there, you can say enter your code properly, or because you cannot leave the bugs into the code deliberately, you cannot leave the flaws, there's going to, but I have made, because in the next video I have just tried to incorporate. I'm telling you again and again, because It's just while writing the code, after making the video only, I'm just I felt like that it should not be done. So this is how it is. So I run again and I simply enter a character and then see what's coming. What if the user enters a capital Y or capital V? Then what will happen? Again, it's not coming because let me check what is the error, because there is no, it's runtime error is coming because it's not here %c. So it is runtime, means logically it is not correct, but syntactically it is correct. That's why it was not showing any error, but the program was also not working correctly. So it's called the logical error or the runtime error. So the red is now. What if the user enters capital V? Then what will do? So you have to make arrangement, because in programming we say garbage in, garbage out. So machine doesn't do anything on its own. We have to take care of every possibility so that our program can work smoothly, flawlessly. So here you see, now it's, if you write the capital V, then also it will print violet. If you write small v, then also it will print violet. And here our conditional branching is done. In the next video I will try to cover loops, and in one video only I'll cover all the loops. Thank you very much. Keep on watching and have very nice time. Hello friends, very good evening to you all. In this video I'm just trying to explain, because I later realized that I need to tell you about the power of the default statements in the switch statements. You cannot just go and say that the default is necessary but you cannot write it. It's not, it's wrong thing. So I'm sorry for that, but here I'm just trying to make up for my mistake, and it was more importantly a technical mistake, because I always told you that it is not the correct thing. But why I did it? Because I'm recording these on the screen recorder, and this is also the Microsoft 8.1 screen recorder, and the C is also very hardware specific, because you'll hardly find that these days on the 64 C++ compilers. It's the old compiler also. So these two things, they are not working properly. So I created the video and then I added the sound. So after creation of the video I added the sound. That's why in that video it was not possible. Now so I'm sorry for that, and again I'm just trying to say that never ever leave the switches without default. So here in this program, the program is simple. Just it takes a number from the user and says that whether the number is even or odd. So what I try to say, that I receive one number from the user and then I will just divide it by modular division by 2, and if modular division of the x by 2 is 0, it means the number is even. And when it is 1 or 1, then it is odd, because if you divide a number by 2, you can only have two remainders, possible remainders, which is 0 or 1. If it is 0, it means the number is divisible by 2, and if it is 1, then it's just leaving one remainder, that's the odd number. So I take one more variable p, and before going into the switch, I'll just say that p will store the remainder. So p equals x modular division 2. So x will be divided by 2, and the modular division, as you know, so modular division operator leaves the remainder. So when you divide x by 2, the remainder will be stored into p, and the p will become the switch variable. So it can have only 0 or 1. So if a number, suppose user enters a number which is negative number, then it will go automatically into the default. So the case 0 means print even number, it is correct. And case break here, and then case 1 means odd number, so print odd number. And then default. For default we don't need any break, because it is automatically breaking after that. So default, breaking means coming out of the body of the switch statement. So the default, just a reminder, enter the number correctly. So now we need to write get cs to halt the screen and then run. Save the file. I'm trying to finish it in a small video, and I just want to finish it. To name it anything with extension .c because it's a typical C program. So here it goes. Run. Two errors. See, so function should return a value because its name is int main and it's not having return statement, so return 0. So you need to have cool head because the writing flawless programming is also very cumbersome. These two extra lines are there. I need to remove control y just to remove all of them on this kind of compiler. And here it goes. So run it now. Yes, working.